Every 10 minutes, an older adult in the U.S. has a stroke. But here's what hardly anyone tells you. Some of the very vitamins you trust most could be quietly raising your risk. Recent research reveals that a single popular supplement, still pushed on millions of seniors, might spike stroke risk by up to 347% if taken in the wrong form or dose. And nearly all older adults have no clue why. It's not always junk food or family history putting you in danger. Often, it's vitamin overload. Harmless-looking pills that mess with blood flow, raise homocysteine, thicken your blood, or even damage delicate brain vessels. Some start altering your blood within hours. That's why stroke specialists are now urging anyone over 60 to rethink their supplement routine, especially if you've noticed dizziness, confusion, blurry vision, or sudden fatigue. Those aren't just normal aging. They could be your brain warning that blood supply is already strained. What's worse? These risky vitamins aren't exotic. They're in your daily multi. They're sold as brain boosters. Some are even handed to stroke survivors without realizing the fallout. But today, we're breaking it down. You'll discover the 6 common vitamins that may stealthily drive up your stroke risk, ranked from least to most dangerous. And number 1 is still marketed as a must-have for seniors, despite new findings that it may hike clotting risk even more than high blood pressure. Tell me below. What supplements do you take each morning? I'm reading every comment and offering personalized feedback. All right, buckle up. The first vitamin on this list seems harmless enough, but it can quietly mess with your blood pressure meds and even damage tiny vessels in your brain. We're talking about synthetic vitamin E, often hiding on your supplement label as DL-alpha tocopherol. This is hands down one of the biggest misconceptions among older adults. You've probably been told vitamin E is great for your heart, your skin, maybe even your memory. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When it comes in a synthetic form, especially at high doses, vitamin E can actually raise your risk of a serious brain bleed. And the worst part? Most multivitamins marketed to seniors still rely on this cheaper, riskier version. Let's break it down. Natural vitamin E, called D-alpha tocopherol, doesn't work alone. It comes packaged with a family of related compounds known as tocopherols and tocotrienols. Your brain relies on this full spectrum for protection, but synthetic E is just a lab-made look-alike. Your body doesn't process it the same way. Even more concerning, it can block your absorption of the natural forms your brain desperately needs. That imbalance is where the danger starts. Natural vitamin E, especially gamma tocopherol, helps calm inflammation, guards against oxidative damage, and keeps your blood clotting in check. But when synthetic E floods your system, it suppresses these protective forms. That leaves your arteries more prone to inflammation, stiffness, and unwanted clot formation. Even scarier, synthetic vitamin E thins your blood. For younger, healthy people, that might not show up as a problem right away. But for seniors, especially anyone already taking aspirin, warfarin, clopidogrel, or cholesterol meds, it can quietly set the stage for a brain bleed. A large analysis published in the British Medical Journal even found that vitamin E supplements were linked to a 22% higher risk of hemorrhagic stroke. And because aging naturally makes blood vessels more fragile, that risk climbs even higher after 65. You might not get a clear warning. Sometimes it starts subtly with unexplained bruises, frequent nosebleeds that take too long to stop, or moments of dizziness and blurred vision. Other times, there's no signal at all, just a sudden, sharp headache or blackout. That's why synthetic E is so risky. It builds up quietly, flips from helpful to harmful in days, and becomes especially dangerous if you're also dehydrated or already dealing with high blood pressure. So what should you do? First, flip over your supplement bottle. If it says DL-alpha tocopherol, that's synthetic. Ditch it. Look instead for D-alpha tocopherol paired with mixed tocopherols, which means it contains the full suite of vitamin E compounds your body actually knows how to use. Or better yet, get it straight from food. Just 1 ounce of sunflower seeds has over 7 milligrams of vitamin E. Almonds, hazelnuts, spinach, and avocados are excellent choices too, packed with a natural balance of antioxidants your cells crave. And if you're already on blood thinners, talk to your doctor before making changes. But don't wait until symptoms appear. Your brain's tiniest vessels are among the most fragile in your body, and protecting them starts by cutting out silent threats like synthetic vitamin E. Now that we've covered that, let's move on. Because the next vitamin seems perfectly safe, yet can slowly shrink blood vessels inside your brain if you overdo it. This one's vitamin A, especially in the form of retinol palmitate or retinol acetate, the kinds you'll see on the back of most multivitamins or in eye health blends targeted at older adults. Most people don't realize that this preformed synthetic vitamin A is very different from beta-carotene, the plant-based form found in carrots and sweet potatoes. Your body regulates beta-carotene, converting only what it needs into active vitamin A and safely flushing out the rest. But preformed vitamin A skips that checkpoint. It's absorbed directly and then stockpiled in your liver. That might sound harmless until you learn your liver has a limit. Once your stores fill up, excess vitamin A starts circulating and causing problems, often without any warning signs. It can damage the delicate linings of your brain's microvessels, trigger oxidative stress, constrict blood flow, and even increase pressure inside your skull. One 2014 study in stroke found that people with higher blood levels of vitamin A had a significantly greater risk of ischemic stroke. Other research has linked long-term high doses to double vision, spontaneous nosebleeds, headaches, and even seizures. All signs your brain circulation and fluid balance are under threat. This becomes even trickier as you age because your liver naturally becomes less efficient at clearing out excess nutrients. So even moderate daily doses of preformed vitamin A can build up over weeks or months to toxic levels. If you're also eating liver, taking cod liver oil, or consuming a lot of fortified cereals or dairy, you might be doubling or tripling your intake without realizing it. So what's the safer route? Avoid supplements that list retinol palmitate or retinol acetate unless your doctor specifically prescribed them for a deficiency. Instead, get your vitamin A from beta-carotene-rich foods. Carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, and butternut squash let your body decide exactly how much to convert, protecting you from overload. And if you're taking vitamin A for your eyes, switch to a blend that includes lutein, zeaxanthin, and beta-carotene, all shown to support vision without risking your brain's blood flow. If you've been taking synthetic vitamin A for more than a few months, it's smart to ask your doctor to check your liver enzymes and blood levels. Catching an overload early is far easier to reverse than trying to repair damage down the road. Because at the end of the day, protecting your brain isn't just about avoiding strokes. It's about preserving your clarity, balance, and independence for years to come. Ready for the next one? It's another vitamin that seems innocent until you see how it disrupts blood vessel health from the inside out. Now let's move right into the next one, because this might truly shock you. It's a so-called brain booster that can actually do the opposite by disrupting blood flow right in the memory center of your brain. We're talking about ginkgo biloba, especially in high doses or low-quality synthetic extracts. For decades, ginkgo's been pushed as a miracle for memory and focus, promising to ward off cognitive decline. But recent research reveals a darker side. In higher doses, or when paired with common meds like aspirin or blood pressure drugs, ginkgo can sharply increase your risk of bleeding in the brain, exactly what you're trying to avoid. Here's what happens. Ginkgo contains compounds called ginkgolides and bilobalide, which thin the blood and dilate vessels. In small, carefully monitored amounts, that might improve circulation. But pile it on, or mix it with blood thinners, or even ibuprofen, and you could trigger uncontrolled bleeding. In older adults whose arteries are already more fragile and likely to be lined with plaque, that's a recipe for disaster. A 2018 study in Neurology found seniors taking high-dose ginkgo had a 38% higher risk of hemorrhagic stroke. Even scarier? A documented case reported spontaneous brain bleeding in a senior who simply combined ginkgo with a daily baby aspirin, something millions do without a second thought. The real danger is inconsistency. Many over-the-counter ginkgo products contain wildly varying levels of active compounds or are spiked with synthetics to make them seem stronger. You have no way to know exactly what you're getting. Early signs of trouble can show up fast. Sudden dizziness, confusion, slurred speech, or a crushing headache out of nowhere. These aren't mild side effects. They're possible warnings of a bleed. The smarter move? If you're taking ginkgo, stop and check the label. If it doesn't clearly state a standardized extract like 24% flavone glycosides, 6% terpene lactones, steer clear. Talk to your doctor about safer ways to support memory, like citicoline, bacopa, or even low-dose omega-3s. And here's something few realize. Your hippocampus thrives on steady oxygen delivery, not risky blood thinners. Improve it with deep sleep, regular movement, and foods like beets or arugula that naturally boost nitric oxide. Moving on, because next is vitamin number 3, an everyday energy helper that's tied to dangerous spikes in blood pressure and stroke risk, especially over 65. Vitamin B6. It hides in multivitamins, energy drinks, nerve health supplements, all marketed as safe. But most older adults have no clue that high-dose B6, taken long-term, can quietly damage nerves and arteries. Above 100 milligrams daily, B6 turns neurotoxic. Your liver, which slows with age, struggles to clear out the excess. That means B6 stays circulating, irritating nerves, throwing off vascular tone, and adding oxidative stress to artery walls. A massive study in clinical nutrition tracking over 5,000 seniors found those taking high B6 were almost twice as likely to develop sensory neuropathy, nerve damage that causes numbness, tingling, and unstable walking. Worse, research in stroke linked long-term B6 use to paradoxically higher homocysteine levels, in some, a red flag amino acid tied directly to arterial inflammation and stroke. It sneaks up on you. Maybe you feel a little dizzy standing up, get unexplained tingling in your feet, or subtle tremors. Meanwhile, homocysteine could be stiffening brain arteries silently. The biggest trap? B6 is everywhere. Multis, fortified cereals, separate nerve supplements. Many seniors unknowingly rack up 200 to 300 milligrams daily, triple the safe upper limit. To protect yourself, add up your total B6 across every product. If it's over 50 to 100 milligrams, you're flirting with risk. Ask your doctor for a homocysteine check. If it's high, scale back B6 and favor folate and B12 from leafy greens and eggs. And absolutely skip time-release B6, which can build up without warning signs until the damage is done. Ready for the next? It's another must-have vitamin that might actually be tightening your arteries from the inside. Let's get into it. This is vitamin number 2, and it's one almost every senior takes daily without realizing it could raise their stroke risk by over 30%, especially after 65. It's vitamin E, specifically synthetic alpha tocopherol. Most people believe vitamin E is heart-healthy, an antioxidant that protects the brain and skin. But here's the shocking truth. When taken in its synthetic form, especially at high doses, it can dramatically raise your risk of hemorrhagic stroke, the deadliest kind. And the worst part? Nearly all over-the-counter senior multivitamins still use the synthetic form without warning you. See, vitamin E isn't just one nutrient. It's a family of 8 compounds, 4 tocopherols and 4 tocotrienols. But cheap supplements usually only include 1. Synthetic alpha tocopherol, listed as DEL-alpha tocopherol acetate. This form is less bioavailable, competes with more protective forms like gamma tocopherol, and disrupts the natural balance your body depends on. The result? Thinner blood, impaired clotting, and a much higher risk of internal bleeding, especially in the brain. A huge trial called the ATBC study, tracking over 29,000 men, found that those supplementing with synthetic vitamin E had a 22% higher risk of hemorrhagic stroke. Another study in JAMA found doses over 400 IU daily increased all-cause mortality, largely due to bleeding. The danger climbs even higher in seniors who already have thinner blood, weaker vessel walls, and often take aspirin or blood thinners. It becomes a silent cocktail for disaster. Symptoms like sudden severe headaches, vision problems, slurred speech, or paralysis often only appear after a bleed has started. Meanwhile, synthetic E may have been thinning your blood every day without you knowing. So check your labels. If it says DL-alpha tocopherol, that's synthetic. Switch to the natural D-alpha tocopherol, ideally combined with mixed tocopherols and tocotrienols. And keep your dose under 150 international units daily unless your doctor says otherwise. Even better, get vitamin E from real foods like sunflower seeds, almonds, spinach, and avocado. They deliver a natural balance that protects rather than harms. But now we've reached number 1, and it's the biggest shocker of all. It's a vitamin most doctors still recommend daily. Yet in seniors, it can backfire so badly, some neurologists believe it's fueling a wave of microstrokes, cognitive decline, and deadly clots. It's vitamin B12, specifically high-dose cyanocobalamin injections. Now, B12 is critical, especially if you're deficient. But here's what most don't realize. The most common injectable form, cyanocobalamin, isn't natural to your body. It must be converted by the liver into active methylcobalamin, releasing small amounts of cyanide in the process. Usually harmless. But in older adults, where kidney and liver function slows, this cyanide byproduct can quietly accumulate, stressing blood vessels and compromising circulation. Even scarier, B12 in excess can actually thicken the blood by raising homocysteine levels, a well-known trigger for strokes and blood clots. A 2020 study in stroke found seniors with high B12 levels, especially from regular cyanocobalamin injections, had a 3.5 times greater risk of ischemic stroke, especially if also taking folic acid. That combo increases blood viscosity and damages the inner lining of arteries, reducing oxygen flow where it's needed most. Early warning signs: sudden confusion, facial drooping, one-sided weakness, or dizziness after an injection. Many dismiss these as aging, not realizing their blood may be thickening dangerously. Now, to be clear, if you are truly deficient in B12, you absolutely need treatment, but do it wisely. Methylcobalamin is the bioactive form your brain actually uses. No cyanide byproducts, and much safer for long-term use. Also avoid megadoses over 1,000 micrograms daily, unless a deficiency is confirmed by blood test. For maintenance, most seniors only need 250 to 500 micrograms 2 or 3 times a week. If you've been getting regular B12 shots and have high blood pressure, memory issues, or past strokes, ask your doctor to test your homocysteine. Elevated levels mean it's time to switch forms or lower your dose. Bottom line, just because a vitamin is popular doesn't mean it's safe, especially after 60. Most stroke risks come not from missing vitamins, but from the wrong types, wrong doses, and dangerous combinations. Be proactive, read every label, and work with your doctor to protect your brain and blood vessels before silent damage starts. If this opened your eyes, tell us below. Which of these vitamins are in your cabinet right now? Are you reconsidering any? We read every comment and love giving tailored tips to help you stay sharp, active, and independent well into your golden years. If you found this valuable, do us and yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss life-saving health insights. And don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Share this video with a friend or loved one who might be unknowingly at risk. Your brain and body are worth protecting. Stay informed, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video, where we'll reveal the shocking supplement combos secretly harming thousands of seniors. Drop your thoughts below. We're listening.